Hi everyone, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Peter Llewellyn. I run the services at medcommsnetworking.com. So if you haven't been to have a look, you'll find resources, activities, services for the global medcoms community, by which I mean people who work in and around medical communications, medical education, medical publishing, the global community of medcoms specialists, and indeed those people who want to join medcoms. This week we've had a MedComms Forum, which was an open Zoom meeting, which talked about home working in medcoms, all sorts of different aspects of home working. Obviously, we're talking to you at the end of what has been a crazy year for everyone. This is December 2020. We've all had to go back home at various stages and adapt to different ways of working. So we pulled together this week on the 16th of December, a group of people from the industry who talked us through their perspectives on how the work has gone. You'll find the whole recording at NetworkPharma TV, but it is a hefty 2 hours of video. It's well worth watching if you can, because the presentations all complement each other quite nicely. But we've taken each of the presentations, split them up, and provided them individually in this way. So thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoy. Cheers.
Susie is at Prime Global, and she is going to be talking about recruiting and joining remotely. Susie, are you there?
I am indeed, and actually I'm also joined by my colleague May. So to kick us off, I'm Susie Marriott. I joined Prime Global actually at the end of March 2020, so in the first week of the first lockdown. But I've since recruited a new member to my team, so today I'll be sharing my experiences as a hiring manager.
So I'm May. I joined the company in October. So I actually interviewed remotely and I joined remotely. So I'll be going through my experience really as a new joiner and being onboarded completely remotely.
So to set the scene a little bit, even before the pandemic, Prime Global was already collaborating across the US and the UK offices and with some existing fully remote employees. Our internal structure is such that teams aren't actually restricted to a particular location. And as part of the people first approach, is a flexible working policy that also includes working from home. But as I think everybody found this year, the arrival of the pandemic and the need to keep people safe meant we all moved to working from home, and we really had to take collaborating virtually to the next level. That also included our recruitment and onboarding processes. And so the next couple of slides, we're breaking those down a little bit further and sharing our experiences of the main stages of applying, interviewing, and actually joining or onboarding.
So Prime Global has continued to grow and recruit people around the world. We've recruited people in all different levels, different types of roles, and we've managed to do this all remotely. We've had the opportunity to improve our virtual interviewing processes as well. One of the things that we've taken away and one of the things that we've learned is making sure that we've got the right recruitment system and platform in place, so it's easy for applicants to apply, to upload their CV. From my own experience, I remember I saw the advert on LinkedIn, which then took me straight onto Prime's recruitment platform where I applied. I uploaded my CV and it was quite a straightforward process.
And from the hiring manager's perspective, whatever that system or the software you're using, it should be really easy for everyone involved in all aspects of the hire to be able to access and review candidate CVs, to be able to leave comments and feedback on candidates, and also to request interviews to be set up and just keep that process moving.
So from my experience, I guess as a candidate, I applied and then I received an email from the recruitment team who then set up a video interview. They sent me their Microsoft Teams link, so it was really well organized. The next few slides, we're just going to go into a little bit about the pros and cons of video interviewing. So yeah, just to start off, I guess, with pros and cons. For me to schedule the interview that I had, I was actually able to do it around my previous role. So it was quite good. I didn't need to book annual leave or time off. I could kind of manage it around my previous job. It also didn't take up as much time as a face-to-face interview would, because I didn't have to travel into the office or into London. So I was able to do that all remotely.
I think it's sometimes easier as well to organise in diaries from the interviewers as well, particularly if they're not normally based in the same office or if they're travelling. And the other thing we found is actually that interviewing everyone virtually creates a really consistent approach for both employees who'd normally be based in an office and those who'd normally be based remote as well.
Also, just to add on that, I guess to touch on one of the disadvantages that I felt was not actually seeing the office, not seeing where the location was, and just not getting a feel for the office. Another disadvantage was, I think it's difficult to build that eye contact, that rapport when it comes to a video interview, and if there's any technical issues like we experienced today. But yeah, that was the difficult part, how to sort of build that initial rapport, eye contact. So that was I guess a disadvantage.
That's so true. I always end up looking at the video feed on the screen instead of directly at the camera. So you don't get that sort of engagement with the other person, and it's sometimes difficult to tell body language as well if you're only seeing a head and shoulders shot. Obviously, we've experienced some technical difficulties today, but another example is that one interview I did was we had a really poor internet connection. The video feed kept freezing. Even when we turned the cameras off to see if it would help, there was still like big gaps. And at one point I wasn't sure if the candidate was just pausing before answering my question or if the call had just completely dropped. So it made it a lot more difficult to keep the conversation flowing and getting that sort of natural feel between interviewee and interviewer. However, in that case, I'm really pleased to say that she was an amazing candidate and we didn't have technical issues in her second interview. On the next slide, I think we'll just have a little look at the joining and onboarding. Oh, joining and onboarding.
Okay, so joining and onboarding at Prime. So from my perspective, I found the process really well organised. The IT team do a great job in getting equipment over. So before I joined, I got an email to say that my IT equipment is on its way. I received a welcome pack. I think all these little things actually make a big difference in making a new joiner feel welcome and valued right from the offset. Also, during my first week and my first couple of weeks, HR and the training team actually set up inductions in my diary, so it was all well organised, and I got the opportunity to meet lots of different people in the business right from the go. And again, also just to touch on feeling disconnected. So I personally haven't felt disconnected, even though I joined remotely. There's a strong sense of teamwork and collaboration. And one of our company values is partnership. And I definitely think that is reflected in how we do things from a new joiner and onboarding point of view. So I've definitely felt welcomed right from the offset.
That was my experience as well, and I think particularly this year there's a sort of recognition amongst existing employees that it is an unusual situation, and everyone's making even more of an effort to reach out to people, to be available to people, so that you really don't feel like you're isolated in a bubble of one in your own house. And that sort of culture, that people first and helping each other, is something that really does go beyond just physical spaces and is about the team and the colleagues you value around you.
Just to add on what Susie said, so another thing that helped me as a new joiner was getting stuck into meaningful work right from the go, and having good feedback from my line manager really sort of helped me, along with just the sort of full onboarding process and the ability to meet key people from the leadership team. Really helped me understand the business. Also at Prime, we have internal initiatives like quizzes and different types of competitions, and that really helps to get to know different people.
I've also found that our company updates are a really useful way to learn about what's happening in teams beyond the people I interact with in my day-to-day role. And as a line manager, I think both Tim and Rebecca have touched on this a little bit, but really taking the time to build that relationship with your team, understanding what's important to people professionally and personally, and how you can help them be successful in that. A part of that is creating space for conversations to develop naturally, the same way that you would if you were all sharing an office together. I appreciate that's been a little bit of a whistle-stop tour, but we hope that's given you a little taste of our experience at Prime Global. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Susie, May, I love your double act, the way you'd obviously rehearsed this, the way you went back and forth with the slides, and I thank you so much for keeping to time. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said, that was just one presentation from what was an excellent afternoon on the 16th of December 2020, when we came together for a MedComms Forum to talk about home working in MedComms. You will find the other presentations and indeed the full presentation, the full recording of the whole afternoon, about 2-hour video over at NetworkPharma TV. Well worth watching. You'll find lots of practical tips and useful insights into how we're all getting on in MedComms in these strange times. So thank you very much for watching. Do please come along to medcommsnetworking.com if you want to see what else we're doing, and take care. Cheers.